The 2025 Carolina Panthers were one of the strangest, scrappiest, and possibly one of the most unexpected playoff teams in the entire NFL. They finished 8-9, they won the NFC South, and somehow they did it while ranking 27th in scoring and 27th in total offense. And get this, they made the playoffs for the first time since 2017, despite dropping their final two regular season games, and only sneaking in because Atlanta took down New Orleans in Week 18. This is a team that went from 5-12 last year to a division title. Yeah, you heard what I said, a division title. They won close, they lost big. But inside all of that disarray, there were real fantasy gems, real growth, and a rookie wideout who absolutely announced himself. We'll start with the quarterback, Bryce Young. This wasn't a breakout year, but it was an evolving year. Year 2 under Dave Canales gave him something he desperately needed, confidence and consistency. 21st in the league with 3,011 yards, QB 16 with 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and an 87.8 passer rating. Compare that to 2024, he had 2,403 yards and only 15 touchdowns. That's growth worth acknowledging, but the style, still the same story. 6.3 yards per attempt, short game, timing game, rhythm game. Carolina still hasn't locked that vertical attack. Fantasy-wise, he was a QB 19 with 233 fantasy points. A low-end QB 2. Safe floor, but limited ceiling. He only had 2 top 5 finishes all season. Unless you were in a superflex, you probably weren't starting him. His best moment came Week 13 versus Atlanta. He threw for 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, 31.8 fantasy points. That was only the second 30-point game of his entire career. Now this is where things get fun, because Rico Dowdle, yes, that Rico Dowdle, became the engine of this offense. 236 carries, 1,076 yards, he averaged 4.6 yards per carry with 6 touchdowns. He had 217.3 fantasy points, good enough for RB17. He finished RB14 in rushing yards. He was a legit RB2 all season long, displaying volume, efficiency, and first downs. He kept this offense on schedule when nothing else was working. And the spike weeks, Week 5, RB1, 29 points. Week 6, RB1, 29 points. Week 9, RB2, 26.1 points versus Green Bay. Fantasy managers, he was one of the steals of the year. Chuba Hubbard, he chipped in 511 yards and 126.4 fantasy points, but this backfield belonged to Dowdle. Now here's the twist. Chuba didn't live up to his top 15 2024 finish, and Dowdle has already hinted he may want a bigger role elsewhere in 2026, so this backfield could very well flip again. Let's talk about the new face of the Panthers passing game, the 2025 AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tetairoa McMillan. 1,014 yards, a franchise rookie record, 7 touchdowns, led all the rookies. He was the only rookie to hit 1,000 yards, and off the wall stat, he completed 5 of 6 catches on 4th down. That tied for the most in the NFL. He had a catch in all 17 games. He finished wide receiver 15 in yards and wide receiver 16 in fantasy points with 212.4. That put him just ahead of players like Stephon Diggs and Devontae Smith. He had separation, body control, and big play juice. He was everything Bryce Young needed, and honestly, the only consistent receiving threat on the roster. McMillan was the sun, moon, and stars of this passing game. Fantasy-wise, a high-end wide receiver 2 who flashed wide receiver 1 upside every other week. Now, Jaylen Coker, he showed he had reliable hands with 33 catches on 41 targets, but just 394 yards. Xavier Legette, he had 363 yards. He showed flashes, but inconsistent. Defensively, Carolina landed squarely in the middle class, competitive in stretches, vulnerable in others, still missing that one game-changing force. They allowed 380 points and 5,563 total yards. But there was improvement. Their points per game dropped from 31.4 to 23.8. That's real progress when games come down to field goals for the win. Look, the Panthers had a minus 69 point differential and a minus 538 yard differential. They were bottom 10 in explosive plays on both sides of the ball. So how did they win the NFC South? Simple. They won the rock fights, they squeaked out the coin flip games, and the rest of the division was a dumpster fire. This team is an offseason away from being legitimately interesting. For the 2026 draft, they will select 19th in the first round with a total of 7 picks. They need offensive line upgrades, a true edge rusher, and figure out what to do at tight end. They will focus on a scheme that lets Bryce Young push the ball downfield and confirm he is their future gunslinger. The foundation, it's better than people think. Now talking some fantasy takeaways and look-aheads. Rico Dowdle, RB2, but hitting free agency. Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver 1 potential. Bryce Young, a QB2. J.C. Horn, an IDP starter at corner. And Chuba Hubbard, flex depth with upside. Coker and Legette, DFS dart throws. The 2025 Carolina Panthers, a weird, gritty, chaotic team that somehow found its way into January football. They weren't pretty, but they kept us on our toes. And for fantasy, they gave us a breakout back, a breakout wideout, and a whole lot of do we or don't we questions heading into 2026.